Alright, hey guys. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on a bass sound that someone asked me to do. They asked me to do it about a couple weeks ago. They left a comment on one of my videos. I'm not going to play the track that the bass sound is in because you can just go check out that video to see it. But it's a really nice bass sound. It's pretty heavy and got a lot of low end and pretty deep, which is good. One of the main reasons that I'm going to be doing the tutorial is because back when I started first making deep house, I couldn't find really any tutorials on deep house in general, but mostly tutorials that were on good deep house bass sounds, and that's a really big part to deep house. And so I just want to do one, and hopefully it'll help you guys move along and progress. All right, so open up a new sound, and then the first thing you need to do is make sure oscillator 1 is on, and go over to the digital hybrid category and choose Melomantic. Pitch it down 1 octave or -12, and then turn the wavetable position all the way up. Leave the intensity right there, push all the way down, and leave the amp all the way down. We're going to put an envelope on the amp, and we're going to put a macro on the wavetable, but we'll do all that later. Turn on oscillator 2, choose square saw 1. Turn that down 2 octaves or -24. Leave the wavetable position all the way up, the intensity all the way down, and the amp all the way down. Same thing goes for this amp. We're going to put an envelope on that. Go to oscillator 3, turn it on, and open square saw 1 again. Leave the wavetable position all the way up, the intensity almost all the way down, just a little bit up, and the amp all the way down with an envelope on it later. Pitch it down 1 octave. All right, now we're going to skip over to the filter. Oh, and push all of these all the way to filter 1, all the way up here. You can leave this one just below, kind of find out what you like with it. Okay, choose low pass 4, and leave the cutoff all the way down, and the resonance all the way down. Once again, we're going to put macros on these later, and I'll go over that near the end of the video. Okay, now on to filter 2. Choose low pass 4, and push the cutoff to about there, which is about 45% or so. Put the resonance right here, pointing towards the R, and we're going to put macros and envelopes on those later. So the second filter is mostly just for if you want to change which way the filters are going. So like you can turn that way and it'll sound different. But I like it this way for most deep house bass. All right. Now on to the effects. I chose Bronner Tube, and I put the dry wet up about there, just below 50%. Turn the drive down, and I'm going to put a macro on it later so I can adjust how much drive I want. I chose phaser for the second one, and then I left the dry wet down and put a macro on it for later. Turned the rate about, I don't know how many percent, but about there. You could just probably figure out where you like it, because you don't want too much going on with the phaser. You just want it kind of going on in the background nicely to give it some tone. Turn the feedback to about there and the depth to about there. The same goes for the rate, feedback, and depth. Kind of figure out how you want it to sound. Now go to the EQ, turn the high shelf down just a bit, and turn the low shelf up just a bit. All right, to the modulation oscillator. This isn't used too often when I make sounds, especially bass sounds, but this sounds good. So you can leave everything off except for phaser, which is going to go to the second oscillator. Turn that up to about there towards the E, and we're going to put a macro on that later. Pitch it down 2 octaves to -24. And that's going to add a little bit of a phaser, but just to the second oscillator. Yeah, second oscillator, sorry. Okay, in this I don't have any noise going on. I do have some feedback though. I turned it up just a bit, so it's kind of going on in the background, adding a bit of crunch to it. In insert 1, I put sine shaper. I left both of them down, but I put macros on it. And And that's it for now. So now on to the first envelope. So you can just pretty much copy in right here, but this is how I have it. So it's a sharp attack, and then it goes down slowly over time. And to get those, if you don't know how, you move this up to loop 1, and then adjust those as they are, and put the release about halfway, and put a macro on it later. Actually, yeah, put a macro on it now. So we put macro 6 on that, and I put it there, and I dragged it up. All right. Now to the second one, loop up to the first one, put in all the parameters, and then 7, you can click that, drag and drop it, and push it up a bit. All right, so for the third envelope, same, fill in the parameters, loop 1, and leave the release down this time. Fourth envelope, and this is the one that's connected to your amp, so it's the main one. But what you're going to want to do is push down these 3 all the way, push the decay down, push the level all the way up, leave these 2 down, push that to loop 1, turn the level up, and leave the release down for it. And then you're going to want to turn this on right here. And you can turn the release up more if you want, but I found it for at least the track that I used it in to fit well right there. All right, so now we're going to grab envelope 1, drag it, and drop it there, and push it all the way up. And the same goes for the rest of the amps on oscillator 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we're going to go to the second envelope that we made, that one. Oh, sorry, one thing I forgot is that you're going to want to turn the velocity on this up just a little bit. All right, so the second envelope, you're going to grab that, drop it on the second filter right there, and push it up to about there. All right, let me just see if I added any more envelopes. I can't remember what I did on this one. All right, I think that's it. I guess you didn't need to make the third one. Sorry, guys. All right, so now let's grab the first macro and drag that and drop it right there and push that all the way up. And so what that does is that when you turn up this control right here, it'll turn the cutoff of the entire sound up. So you can make it more and more distorted and grainy, or you can turn it down and make it more, I don't know, analog sounding-ish. All right, now you're going to grab the second one and drop it right here on the wavetable position and push that all the way down back there. You can also drop it, where else did I drop it? I believe that was the only spot that I dropped it. All right, so what that really does is that kind of changes, as I said right here, the shape of the sound and just kind of how it sounds and the tone and the timbre of it. All right, so the third one, just drop it right here in the modulation oscillator and push it up all the way. And so that's going to change how much phasing is going on in that second oscillator. Resonance 4, drag, drop, push it up. Oops. Same goes, drag and drop and push it up. And then 5 is the drive. And so you're going to make sure you're on Bronner tube. Whoops. Bronner tube. And you're going to grab it, drop it in drive, and push it up just to about there, just about the middle. We already did 6 and 7. 6 is the release, 7 is the decay, and finally 8, which is the effects mix. So you're going to grab it and drop it in the dry wet of phaser and turn it up to about halfway or just below. And there is your sound, basically. So really it's pretty simple, really. There's just a lot of, I don't know, kind of extra effects like macros and envelopes that you need to put on it to get it sounding right. But really mess with the macros, because the reason that they're there, the reason that I made them for this sound was so that you could really mess around with it and pitch with it easily and figure out what you want it to sound like without having to completely rearrange the whole synth. You can just mess with a few knobs and completely change the sound. All right, once again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned.